Hello everyone, welcome to Meraki Homes studio. I am Anu and today we are going to explore biophilic design. So biophilic design is a new upcoming trend that is being talked about a lot, and a lot of builders and designers are coming up with this kind of theme in terms of their construction and designing. Uh, so basically, it's something that is used in architecture as well as interior design, where the motive is to bring the outdoors inside, and it's more about bringing the elements of nature into your interiors and into your lifestyle. So, what exactly is biophilic design? It's basically mimicking the outdoor vibe or the outdoor materials, or directly sourcing materials from nature. It's also in a way where you design getting inspired from natural shapes, natural forms, and textures that are very much similar to the natural vibe, so that it creates that kind of ambience where you feel you have that outdoorsy element inside your living space. And a lot of people are saying, and studies have shown, that this kind of designed spaces make you feel more calm in your own space, and it also boosts your focus and reduces your stress, and it basically gives you a lifestyle that is healthier and happier. So let's talk about the elements of this design theme, how it can be used in your projects, and how you can benefit from the kind of designs that are done in this theme. First thing, lighting. Lighting is one of the most important factors here. So while designing a space, or while doing the interiors of a house, the most important point is to keep the daylight coming in. That's the key here. And the ways to do this is multiple options are there which you can play around with. One is that you can use skylights. Now that is possible when you are having the construction or the basic structure making in your hands. So skylights is of course the best way to get that daylight and sunlight inside your house. Second is, if you don't have that option, you can go for large windows. Now, large windows with wood accents will give that natural, environmental feel into the house. And of course, it lets the sunlight and the daylight flow through the space and gives that natural calming vibe to the whole space. If you don't have multiple windows, and if windows are limited and lighting is less in a house, for example, there we can play around with materials. For example, the flooring that is being used or any other tiles that is being used somewhere can be glossier, of course in lighter colors, but glossier to reflect light so that the brightness of the entire space increases. Another way to get that sunlight in is the use of linen sheer curtains. For example, in one of our projects in the French door, instead of going with those blackout heavy curtains, we just used simple linen curtains, which basically just softened the sunlight that was, coming through that French door, which was east facing. So a lot of sunlight is flowing through the entire common area or the hall space, and yet we just softened it with the linen kind of a curtain and brought that natural vibe to the whole space. So that's about lighting. Next, if I talk about the next thing, is the use of materials that are being used in the execution of any space designing and making of the space. So there can be multiple kinds of materials that you use in this theme. Think about materials like solid wood, veneers, bamboo, rattan, jute, cane, etc. Again, stones, limestone kind of finish, textures that are raw and give that earthy vibe to the space. For example, a dining table that is made in veneer and has those grains visible can give you that earthy vibe in the whole space. And then you can kind of accent the wall using limestone textures and maybe some curves. Next example would be, for example, if you're designing a bedroom, the headboard could have that jute finish or a rattan finish, and that can give you that raw earthy vibe without overwhelming that space. These days we are also using rattan on the wardrobe shutters to give that natural vibe. So that's about the materials that we can use. And the third important point is that we have to avoid the use of synthetic materials here. That basically breaks that connection that we are trying to create here with nature. So avoid synthetic materials like, very high gloss kind of metallic finishes, or plastic kind of finishes like WPC panels or PVC panels. These materials will kind of need to be avoided if you are going for this kind of design theme, so that the connection doesn't break. Next important thing here while designing in this theme is the shapes and the forms that you use. So the shapes and the forms here, biophilic design in this, it loves curves. So a lot of curves and organic shapes would enhance this design theme. And for example, you can think like river-like shapes, like asymmetric organic shapes, so rounded furnitures. Maybe an example would be like a pebble-shaped coffee table, or a wall that has, a very irregular kind of curvy bulge on it and has that stone kind of finish on it. So these are some examples of how you can use the shapes and forms that are organic and feel very natural and outdoorsy. In terms of shapes, you can go for these oval shapes and irregular organic shapes in terms of lighting also. These cane lights, bamboo lights, etc. have these beautiful shapes that are coming up, so those can be utilized in your design. Secondly, when you are making the fixed units in the house, for example like a console or a TV unit or a study unit or any other storage unit that you're creating, there you can have shapes which have those curves. The important pro tip here is to avoid those sharp angles, like as much as possible. Even on your walls, ceilings, and on these units, we must try to avoid the sharp angles and sharp edges, so we can have nice free flowing curves going throughout the space as much as possible. And also very much completely geometric shapes and patterns should be avoided as much as possible. I know we cannot completely avoid it when there are some restrictions in when we are designing the flats, for example, but yes, those can be maximized as much as possible. Like use of maximum curves and rounded edges can be very beneficial while working on this kind of design. And finally, yes, plants. So biophilic design is kind of misunderstood in a way where even we used to think earlier that it's something about just plants and greenery. So it's not that. As I said earlier, it's about shapes, materials, forms, textures, colors, etc. And it's all about getting nature directly inside into your space. But plants are a very important factor here. Yes, it's a major part of this design theme. And the thing is that they need to be planned strategically. How the placement of the plants needs to be seen properly. For example, if there's a corner, that can simply be highlighted with a big potted, fig plant or a bamboo plant. And use of indoor plants can, give you that completely different vibe and can help you a lot in this design theme. Some nice indoor plants that can be used and are easy to maintain are rubber plants, fig plant, your bamboo plants, and those bushes that come, the thin bamboo plants also can be used here and there, and those are tall and looks really nice. So the plants can basically highlight a wall or a corner, or maybe just by the window you can place it, and you need not do much. You can simply use them as focal point of a space. Then there are vertical gardens that you can create on passage walls, which can be very low maintenance and yet can be very different and can create a nice calming atmosphere. Another example would be, for example, if you're creating a home office, you could create a moss wall in a very organic shape, and that can be very low maintenance and yet it could look stunning and have that natural vibe in the working space. Next point would be how we can incorporate this kind of design theme in our decor items and some add-on elements while creating a space. For example, we can include water bodies. If space permits, of course, small water bodies can be created if you have that outdoor space and like a courtyard kind of a space. And if not, in small houses or these compact apartments, we can go for the use of waterfalls and water fountains in the house, even in the interiors as well as in your exteriors like your balconies and corridors. Second thing would be the use of decorative lights in natural materials. And third thing would be use of artworks, which are again designed in a way which is, crafty and has that sustainable natural materials being used. For example, in a project, we used these artworks where the painting was created using dried leaves, and then one had the background of a jute, and then the whole drawing on it was done using threads. Dream catchers and the use of these embroidered artworks can be a great hack in this design theme. And last and the most important thing would be the use of colors which are directly coming from the nature, which can be raw, which can have that earthy vibe to it. And textures and colors which you are using should be of that sort, which kind of reflects the light, creates that brightness in the space, and has a natural raw feel to it. So that's about biophilic design. That's about how we can bring in nature into our interiors and living space to create that happy, calming atmosphere. And yeah, do let us know if you've used any of these ideas, or would really like to use it in your upcoming projects. And do let us know about any other design trend or theme that you want us to talk about. And do not forget to hit the like and subscribe for more updates. See you next time. Thank you so much.